everybody, welcome along to our Saturday afternoon, morning, evening live. Today we are looking at envelopes, and specifically envelopes for beginners. On our Facebook group, the Miss Paintalot's Junk Journal group, we have a surprising number of newcomers, new to the craft of junk journaling. They have to answer 3 questions in order to get into the group, and one of them is, how long have you been junk journaling? And it's amazing that most of them, I would say, are either completely new to it or have only been doing it for a few months. And I suspect a lot of that is probably, we're all locked in the house, so you've got to think of something to do. But on the group the other day, there was a message from someone saying, help, where do I start? What do I do? And then yesterday, I think there was a message from somebody saying, how do you do, what's the story with envelopes? So I'm going to kind of combine the two and do a live on envelopes, but something that real new starters to the craft can do. So before I say anything else, let me say happy birthday to Carol Vaughan. Very, very, very happy birthday. I hope you have a lovely day and you get spoilt rotten and everything that you can have given the circumstances that we find ourselves in at the moment. So, happy birthday, Carol. Right, so let's have a look at shapes for envelopes, what you can use to make your envelopes, etc. Right, this is a purchased envelope. It's the sort that many of us, I would have thought, would have in our homes, some size or other. You might have little ones that you would put a gift voucher in, or, nowadays you get cards, don't you, cards like this, say from Marks and Spencer's or some other shop, and you put in an amount on it, 5, 10, 50 pounds, whatever it is, and you pop that in a little envelope and you give it to the person at Christmas or their birthday or whatever. So some of you may have envelopes that fit that. It doesn't matter what sort of envelope it is. Sorry, what's wrong?
If that was my Christmas present that you were going to send me in an envelope?
No, it was your Christmas present from last year, my love, 2020. But COVID got it. So there was no season. Anyway, so grab an envelope of whatever size, not too large, because that'd just be silly, really. I've got this one that I think is a normal size for a notelet, that sort of thing. And what I'm going to do is take mine. I've had it tidy up on my desk, so be prepared for a lot of I don't know where anything is, because oddly enough, when it's in a mess, I can usually find things more easily. So I'm taking my knife. Now, if you're a new starter, you probably don't have a knife like this. This is it's a professional grade scalpel, I guess you'd call it. They're not that expensive if you buy them from the people who sell professional grade scalpels. If you buy them from Amazon for crafting, anything that's for crafting is just ridiculously expensive. And I'd warn you against buying that and having a look for something, just think around the item and think, what else could it be listed as? And this one wasn't that expensive. It's metal and the blades are replaceable. It's safe because it's retractable. So, yeah, just think about it. But you could easily do what I'm about to do with a kitchen knife, to be honest, because all I'm going to do is just open this up quite carefully because I want to maintain the integrity of the shape. But it's choosing to be quite awkward, but never mind. Okay, I've cut that where I didn't want to, but I think we'll be okay. So I'm just going to take my time. I chose this envelope because it was a cheap little envelope and I thought that it would fall apart quite easily. Ah dear. It doesn't want to fall apart. Right, so I've got it apart. As you can see, there are bits torn, but that's okay. So as soon as you've finished with this knife, make sure that you retract it and put it where you know where it is. So your children or grandchildren, great-grandchildren, whatever, are not going to pick this up thinking it's a toy. That's vitally important because you can do yourself, and kids could really do themselves some damage. So be safe is the first thing. Now here, when you open this up, you've got yourself a template. And you can draw this out onto absolutely any paper that you've got. Now, to begin with, a lot of you may not be downloading DigiKits. Let me explain to you briefly what they are. If you go onto Etsy and put in DigiKits, Junk Journal DigiKits, you will be swamped with thousands of choices. And it is a place where many of us junk journalers hang out. There's no community about it. It's just, we do one of two things mainly. We're either surfing around Etsy, oohing and ahhing at the kits that we could own, purchasing them, possibly, or we're on YouTube looking to see what everybody else is doing, so as we can do that with the new kit that we've just bought. Those are the two places most likely to find us. But the DigiKits themselves, depending on who you buy them from and what price they are, etc., they're a downloadable file. You pay for it and you get the files sent to your email address, or actually messages in Etsy is usually where it comes to first. And then you can go there and you can download them to your device, a computer, PC, iMac, MacBook, whatever. Something that you can print from. Then you can print them straight out, and the paper that you use is another huge topic, but let's just say you print them out onto reasonable quality paper and you have yourself some papers that are complete images, images all the way across the sheet. Some of them, they've got ready tags for you to cut around, pockets, envelopes, etc. So once you've got that and you've printed it out and you've made yourself a template simply by opening up an envelope that you already have, then you can put that on your paper and you can draw around it, and then you can fold it up again and you've got an envelope in the paper that you want it in. Yeah, right. So oddly enough, to hand, I do not have any digital downloads. I have got several around, but not to hand. So I'm going to use a 12 by 12, which I do have plenty to hand. These are other things that I think, to begin with, you might find more accessible. You go into a shop, this pad, for example, here, I bought it at the Works in the UK, and it was the princely sum of £3, but hang on, it was reduced to £2. And there's 24 sheets in here, and they're double-sided, and it's a good place to start. You don't have to print anything out. You don't have to buy a DigiKit. You look through these papers, and if you like what's there, you buy it. It's £2. It's not the end of the world. This is another stack. It's from a different country. They're an different company. It's an American company. Hello. And, there's just loads in here to suit every occasion, really. They are, I haven't even opened this one. They are not double-sided, and that may matter to you. But I'll make an envelope up like this, and you'll see that it's not double-sided, and what we can do to get round that. So let's just find a paper that we like. I quite like that, actually. Yeah, quite like that. So let's just tear that out So, like I say, you could be using a page from a DigiKit if you've already bought some. If not, like I say, it might be a good way to go to buy a 12 by 12 stack or pad or whatever, and go that way to begin with. You know, so you're not having to worry about files and where they are and how to download them and how to print them out and what paper to use to print them out, etc., etc. Right, so I'm going to do this on the wrong side, which is just white in this instance. Some companies do double-sided, some don't. So get this right up to the edge of the paper that you've got. And try and get it as square as possible, because millimeters make a huge difference in junk journaling. They really do, in the finish that you will get. So just take your pencil and draw around your what is ostensibly free template. You haven't had to buy anything, apart from, of course, the original envelope. But I'm pretty sure that most of us have got them lying around. That's a little notch there. And I tore the envelope, but we can see where we're supposed to be. Right, so there we are. And that's that. So let's cut that out and see how we make it up. Roll call?
Roll call, why not? Let's give it a go. I'm bound to miss somebody, but we can give it a go.
Give it a go.
Well, obviously top of the list is Carol Vaughan. Happy birthday, Carol.
Hi, Carol, and happy birthday.
And then we have Roz.
Hi, Roz.
Jean.
Hello, Jean.
Terry.
Hi, Terry.
Bernice.
Hello, Bernice.
Violet.
Hello, Violet.
Miranda.
Hi, Miranda. Carol
Vaughan.
Carol Vaughan, you're in on the act again.
Deborah.
Hi, Carol.
Julie.
Hi, Deborah. Hi, Julie.
Carmen.
Hi, Carmen.
Kerry.
Hi, Kerry.
Nathania.
Hi, Nathania.
Kathleen.
Hi, Kathleen.
Joan.
Hi, Joan.
Sharon.
Hi, Sharon.
Kerry.
Hello, Kerry again.
She's down twice, is she?
Yes. That's okay. She's lovely.
She's lovely. Makes me wonder who I missed, though.
Oh.
No, you've put me right up my stop now.
Oh, sorry.
Leslie.
Hi, Leslie.
Pat.
Hi, Pat.
Jean.
Hello, Jean again.
Donna.
Hi, Donna.
I think that might be it. Oh, Violet. Did I say Violet?
You said Violet, but actually it's good that you said Violet twice, because I wanted to thank Violet. Well, mostly for the beautiful envelopes that she sent me. Honestly, Violet, they were precision itself. They were gorgeous, and I don't know if I will use them because I want to look at them for a while first. And also thank you on behalf of the other people that you've sent out these racks to. I know you've been extraordinarily busy doing that, and I really, from the group point of view, I really appreciate you doing that. It's such a kind gesture, and our group's all about being kind. So thank you very, very much. They are from papers from the Journal Boat, who do, Victoria just does beautiful kits. Anyway, here we are. We've got our piece of paper that we've drawn from our opened up envelope. And then what you need to do is, this is the bottom bit because it's square. So fold in from that mark there to that mark there. So just fold it over and crease it down. So hold on to it and just run your finger along it. When you get a bit more up to speed, one of the things that you will need is a bone folder. Well, they're called bone folders, they're no longer made of bone. This is the one that came with something else, but this is more than likely, if you search for bone folder, this is what you'll find, and it's flat, or it was when I got it. And and it allows you to crease a really sharp line in your paper. And the same on the other side. So just hold it there, take your bone folder and crease that line in. There we go. And then we need to bring the bottom up. Once again, just use the, there is where it's going to crease. Same on the other side. And fold that in and just go over it with your bone folder. And then the top. So, there we have it. There's an envelope. Now, there's a couple of things that I would say about that. It's lovely and I love that paper. It's really, really nice actually. But when you open it up, it's white inside. And I don't like that so much, to be honest. If you're using a pad that's got double-sided patterns on it, either side, you won't have this problem. You'll open it up and it'll be a pattern there and it'll be fine. As I say, we chose one that was white inside. So one of the ways around that is... yeah, I've lost something already. To get yourself a little stencil, and there's loads around. You don't need to go and buy Tim Holtz expensive stencils. Have a look on eBay. Just put in stencils and just keep scrolling around and you will find stencils that are really, really inexpensive. So all I'm going to do is put that there, and I'm going to use... this is a thing called distressing, and it comes in, I think it's 64 colours now. I'm not suggesting for a moment that you need all 64, although you do. In time, you will need 64. But there are certain ones that are really, really useful to have. One of the ones is Vintage Photo. We use it to go around the outside, and I'll show you that in a minute, of how we use quite so much Vintage Photo. But for the moment, I'm going to use this one that's called Victorian Velvet. There is also a thing that looks almost exactly the same, but it's called Distress Oxide. For the moment, for the new starters, I'd leave that alone. You need the Distress ink, and that'll do you nicely. So I'm just going to put my stencil over there. Just going to hold it down with my fingers, hold it firmly. And I'm using this, which is a makeup brush that are widely available on Amazon and in shops now. They were made for putting on your makeup and they're gloriously soft. But we in the craft world have discovered that they're brilliant for putting ink on. And they come in, you can buy them singly or they come in sets of 5 or 7 or whatever. And they're very good at getting smooth ink coverage. The other alternative is this, which is a Tim Holtz dabber. Other companies do make them now, but they were originally Tim Holtz. And they've got this that you hold on to there, and this foam pad on the bottom that's held on by hook and loop stuff. So you can take that off and you can put another clean sponge on there and use it for another colour. And when you've finished, just if you put a little bit of hook and loop on there and attach that to it, every time you pull that out, you'll have your correct colour there to use. I realise I'm giving you an awful lot of information here all at once. But I'm going to use this makeup sponge and I'm just going to get some colour on it and just stencil through my little stencil. And that's kind of the effect you get. So now when you open the top of your envelope, I'm just going to move that around. It won't be pure white. will have some pattern on it. And this is something I use on the back of tags, all sorts of things. Just it just finishes it off, I think. So let's put that up there. I don't want a big space between them, but oh, I think I've run over another one. Never mind. Yeah, they've got two quite close together, but I don't think it really matters. To be honest, I don't. So you just swirl it on, and that way then you won't come under the stencil and get a mucky mark rather than a crisp line. Right, so let's just see if we fold our envelope up again. No, I've still got a gap there. Let's just put a little bit there. Yeah, that's fine. I've just got a little gap here that's quite annoying, so I'm just going to put that leaf in. Yeah, that's fine, and the same here. Right, so there we are. We've changed the white paper into being pretty paper. You know, that looks lovely now. And it's all for the fact of just using a distress ink. They cost about, in this country, they cost about £6. Sometimes you can get them cheaper, £4 odd. It's always worth looking. And if you really want them, if you just pop them in your Amazon basket, occasionally they have a sale or they reduce the prices, and it'll tell you Amazon items in your Amazon basket have been reduced. That's the time to go and buy them, unless of course you need them yesterday. And when you've finished with them, just turn them upside down like I've done with this vintage photo one here, and store them like that, and that way then the ink is on the top really, so it's ready for you to use. So let's glue this together then. But before we do that, I'm going to show you what we use the vintage photo ink for. Now, this is vintage photo. Brown. The distress ink range is not short of browns. There's walnut stain, which is dark ground espresso. Tea dye. There's loads. Gathered twigs. All sorts. Vintage photo is kind of the middle of the pack, and it's the one that suits me quite well because it's not really dark. I'm not really into the sort of, if I'm doing shabby chic, I don't want it to be grungy shabby chic, but I do like doing this around the edge because it just ages it slightly, and it covers that white line that you get when you've cut paper. Which I never find attractive. So just go all the way around, and you'll just end up with an edge that looks prettier. It's not necessary if you don't want to do this. It's absolutely not necessary. It's all down. Everything about junk journaling is down to personal taste and what you're happy with. Right, so that's us right round there. Now then, if it was an old envelope, these edges would also have got dust on them and whatever, and be a little bit dirty looking. So just put a little bit of the brown distress ink around there. Age them down a little bit. You can, if you want, go around the other side as well. Depends what you're going to do with your envelope really, but because I don't know what I'm going to do with it, I'll ink it all around. I think we probably spend more time inking at things than anything else in junk journal land. Right, the other thing that some people do is when you open it up like that, this crease here would have got dusty. And so some people ink along there. I tend not to, but on this occasion I will, just to let you know what it looks like. So there you are, you've just got that line there where it would have been folded for years. And if you were going to make it open like that, it would be along there as well, but we're going to glue this. So let's glue it. Let's glue it up. I have got, Julie, Elmer's Extreme School Glue Stick. Now, I hadn't heard of this, in all fairness, and it was Julie from Camellia Crafts Designs that put me onto this. Haven't even tried it, just arrived today. But it's a glue stick that apparently is very reliable. I'll leave that for today. And what I am going to use is Aileen's Tacky Glue. The glues, the whole glue topic is vast. Find something that, you know, is reliable but not too expensive. And I'll talk through glues with you on another occasion. But this has just been filled up because my Sugar Bell bottle's just arrived. I'm just going to have to tease it out a little bit, that's it. One thing I would say is, think of how much you think you need and half it. You don't need all that much, really. So that's just a thin little bead along there. And then hold those down, fold that down, and there you go. On occasions when you do that, you will have glue that oozes out of here. If you do not use a wet wipe. Don't use a wet wipe straight out the package, because they'll rub away the ink, particularly ink that you've put through your inkjet printer. They'll just demolish it and make a really nasty mark. So what I do is I get a pack of wet wipes, I cut the end off, and actually I just stick them on the mantelpiece, but you know, just leave them and they'll dry out, and they make perfect cloths for picking up excess glue. Right, so there we are, we have our envelope. Of course, you could decorate it in any which way, and if we've got time we'll come back to that and we'll decorate it. But for the moment, that's the envelope from the template that you made yourself. One down. Right, the next one that I want to show you is this one. And this was a template that I found on Google. It was a free to use template, and if you go to my Facebook group, this template is in the files, is it, Mr. F?
I believe so.
So just search through that and you will find this template. You can then, of course, well, you'll have to print it out, but you can resize it. So this is the same as this, it's just I've made this one larger. But this I find a very good size for putting in journals. It's just a nice little size. It fits in nicely. So let's use this one. And what I'm going to do is use a sheet out of a music book. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. And I appreciate that it's really difficult at the moment because the charity shops are closed. But when the charity shops are open, there are certain things you should be looking for, and one of them is music paper. So, you know, keep your eyes open. So I've got music on both sides here. So if I put my template on like that, this is the top, so it's going to fold down. That means my music on this side is going to be upside down. And this bit which folds up, the music's going to be upside down as well. And that's not what I want. So let's turn that right around and see what happens. So when I fold that up, yeah, that's going to be the right way up. And when I fold that down, yeah, right way up. So we're okay. Let's draw around this template then. But it's worth always taking a couple of minutes and working that out. Where are which bits are going to be showing and what's it going to look like. So I'm going to square this up using the edge of that. And once again, I'm going to draw around it. I think perhaps a pencil might not show up very well, so I'll use something else so as you can see what I'm doing. I think that's square. This pen I'm using is a Frixion pen, Frixion. And the joy of this Frixion pen is that it'll stay exactly where it is until you apply heat. So once you apply heat from your heat gun, or even a hairdryer will do it, even sitting it on the mantelpiece actually does it, the line just disappears like it was never there. Right, so there we are, we've got our template. Let's cut that out. It's worth making your templates in something a little bit sturdier, some, thick paper. It makes it easier to draw around and it makes it longer lasting as well. Is everybody all right?
Yes.
No one on the naughty step today. That naughty step's neglected these days.
It is. No, everybody's behaving themselves. Jean says she likes the new glue stick.
Right.
Sharon says she doesn't.
All right. Why not?
Problems with peeling, she's saying.
Oh dear. Wonder why that would be, because Julie hasn't experienced that. Don't know. I'll do it and I'll let you know.
Maybe it depends on the porousness of the paper, perhaps.
Yeah.
It's too shiny, maybe it doesn't take. Don't know.
I'll do this and I'll put it on the mantelpiece and I'll see what happens. Because you can't, if you're selling your journals, you have to test everything. You can't just depend on, because it says on the packet it's good. You really have to test it for yourself. So leaving it in a warm environment for a while is usually a pretty good test. Right, so there we have it. I'm going to be rash and throw those out. Here's our template. Here we are. So this is the way we want it, and we want to fold this bottom up to where the flaps start. Make sure you've got it something like square. Crease that in. Fold the flaps in. So I hope whoever asked, I can't even remember your name, I'm really sorry. Whoever asked about envelopes, I hope you're watching and I hope this is of some help. There we go. Let's just fold the top in. Just get that to there. Right, the next logical part of this is to fold the top down. I don't really want to do that because I want to make this into a pocket in my journal. So I'm going to get rid of that red, the Frixion, everywhere. Just quickly, excuse me. Lovely. And I'm now going to ink around it. I'm thinking, this is me thinking. I think what I want to do is put some decoupage on there, which is another nice thing to do, and it's easy when you know how, really is. So let's get a board out that's relatively clean. Don't really have a relatively clean one, this will do. So what I want this to go in my journal like that. So let's pretend. Let's pretend. Let's pretend this is our journal. So it's a piece of ordinary paper that we've folded in half. And that's generally the size journals are. You can make them smaller, larger, whatever, but that's generally it. So that size there suits me well. It fits on there really nicely. And what I would like to do is just glue around there, there, and there, which will allow me a pocket in there that I can put a tag into, or a journaling card. Whereas if I could make it into an envelope and do the same thing, just do glue it on the 3 sides and have that so it opens up with something in there. But I quite like the idea of doing it like that. So the bit that I really want to decorate is this bit here, this bit, the front bit, because that's the bit that you'll really see. So I'm just going to decoupage on there, and it's not going to be anything too terribly fancy. I've got these napkins that have got butterflies on, and they look to me like they'd be the perfect thing. I don't think I've even been into them yet. Oh yeah, I sent one to somebody. I haven't used these yet. So, for you really new guys, and sorry for the people that know all this and have watched me go through this before, this is an unusually small napkin. Normally they're larger than this. This is what they call a cocktail napkin. And of course, every time I have a cocktail, I do have a napkin this size. And generally they come in...
Costing me a fortune in little umbrellas.
They come in layers of tissue paper. So take some tape, sellotape will do fine, anything like that. Stick it on and then rip it off. And that way then you can get these layers off quite easily, because otherwise they can be absolute pigs and you just can't get them off at all.
Sharon says it worked on thin papers, but she had trouble with cardstock and shiny magazines.
Ah, yeah. And that really isn't... I don't save the tissue paper. You can if you want. And I think there's another layer on here, so let's just... Yeah, there we go.
Some people use to make faux vintage paper.
Yeah, the tissue, yeah, they do. But I'm not going to use it, and I really need a good tidy up, so this is going in the bin. So generally that is what you get. You get 2 layers of the plain tissue paper, and you get 1 layer that's got the design on that you want. Right. You might think the way forward is to studiously cut around each and every little nook and cranny of these butterflies. That's not the case at all. Especially if your background, and you can see the background of this is white, and my music paper's pretty white, it'll kind of blend into it, and you'll see when I do it. The trouble comes when you've got a background that isn't the same as the colour of your paper, and then you do see all of it. But that's for another day. At the moment we're using a napkin that is the same colour background as the background of our paper. So I'm just tearing it by hand, tearing around the bits that I want. You could stick anything on, you don't have to do decoupage. This is just a little something else for you to put on your envelopes, so you can feel really accomplished when you've done it. Because it's a lovely feeling when you've done something that you didn't know how to do and it's turned out beautifully and you feel dead chuffed. So that's one. Which other one shall we have? This little green one? Yeah. But when you've torn these 2 out of here, or however many you tear out, don't throw the rest of it away. You know, this will keep you going ages. But do fold it up when you've finished. because I have a terrible habit of just putting it on my desk and then clearing my desk off, and at some later stage I'll find some totally crumpled up bit of decoupage napkin. So yeah, there we are. I'm just going to tear that off across there, fold it up, look at me being really good, and pop that in there so it doesn't get too bent out of shape. And there we are. That can go back in the pack and you're good to go. Right, so I think that one would go nicely there, and I think that one would go nicely there. And then we have two nice butterflies. So, right, the glue. The glue that you use to stick them on with. Now, the go-to glue is, I would say, is probably a glue called Mod Podge. It's everywhere. People use it all the time. It's not my favourite, not by a long shot. Even the matte one has got a sheen to it, and I don't want that on my project. There are other things out there. Tim Holtz does a lovely one, but I like this one. It's Winsor & Newton Galleria, and it's called Matte Medium, and it is matte. And when it's dry, you can work on top of it. You know, you could stamp on it or whatever. A lot of the others dry like plastic, and you can't stamp on it or anything. So this is the one that I like to use. It's Winsor & Newton isn't the most expensive brand, so it's not out of your price range, hopefully, as a new starter. Right, so what you need is a soft brush, softer the better, and some water to put your brush in when you've finished, because if you leave it, it'll just get stuck up and won't be any good to anybody. So I'm just going to put that there at a bit of an angle, and I'm not putting anything under the decoupage. There's paper, tissue, then I'm going to go in with the glue. Don't put glue down first, because if you do, your thing will get stuck to it, and then you'll go and try and straighten it out and you'll get all wrinkles. So no glue first. Just like this. Pick up your glue, and plenty of it on your brush. Start from the middle, so I'm starting from this little fella's body, and I'm going out to the edge. Pick up some more, out from his body, out to the edge. And then you can start moving around him, but from the centre, all the time from the centre. That way then you push any air bubbles out that might have got trapped. So there we are, right off, just over the napkin. And try not to fiddle, says she, fiddling. That's it. He's there. He's stuck. He's down. He's not going anywhere. So don't start fiddling. Don't lose sight of the fact that that basically is a piece of wet tissue paper. And you know how inherently strong they aren't. So, you know, don't mess. And this one I'll put up here. Just need another little bit of medium. Yeah, so the secret, if there is any secret to this, is not to put glue down first, because of what I've just told you. It'll stick to it and it'll wrinkle and you'll wish you hadn't bothered at all. And secondly is always make sure you've got enough medium on your brush. Otherwise your brush dries and it starts to drag on that tissue and it'll tear it. So once again, load your brush up and go from the middle out and then up, and then get all that quarter sort of done there. From the middle down, and do that other quarter that's there. From the middle up, and do that quarter. And from the middle do the other quarter. So there we are. I mean, that's as hard as it is, and I mean, you'll agree that is not hard. It's not hard to do, is it? But people, for some reason, they get in a real fankle about decoupage and, oh, I never do it because it doesn't go right. It will go right. It just will. Have confidence. Do it the way that I've just shown you and it will go right. I promise you it will. Just don't mess with it. Once you think you've got it looking beautiful, it is beautiful. So leave it alone. So we'll just leave that to dry. I'll just clean that excess off there. And then we'll come back and we'll glue it all together and make an envelope with it. I'll just start it on its way briefly. Sorry about this, guys. I'll just have a throat lozenge. The other thing is when you're testing if it's dry, don't just stick your finger down in it because it'll stick to your finger, not the paper. So I think that's pretty dry actually now. So let's ink around it and you'll see what a huge difference inking makes just to a paper like this. You think that it's not, you think you're doing nothing. But it really does make a difference.
Cynthia says hi.
Hi Cynthia, how are you doing? I don't know if any of you have been having a look at Sheila Styles' videos that she's been putting up. She's started a YouTube channel and the videos that she's putting up are just, they're gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. YouTube channel is just called Sheila Styles, so pop across and have a look. Right, so I don't think I'm going to be seeing any of... I'll fold it up and see what I'm going to be seeing, what I need to ink. I don't think this is going to be seen at all. I don't know why I'm bothering to ink it. And they're not going to be seen. That's going to go in like that. So it's just this bit that I need to ink around the inside. Right.
Cynthia says she slept in, and I can't blame her.
I don't blame her at all. You haven't missed anything really. Right, so there we are. There's our little envelope, ready and made, and it's going to go on our pretend journal page like that. And I'm going to glue it up, and then I'm going to glue it to the page, and then we'll see about getting things to fit in the back and so for this, you'll see the back doesn't go right to the top of here. So put your glue on this bit. If you put it all the way down there, there'll be a bit at the top that you've got glue on and no back to fit on it. So put your glue on the actual back. And like I say, you don't need much. I mean, it's not like you're sticking anything of any great weight or anything. And it's very thin paper as well.
When you use the glue stick.
Yeah, probably a good place to use a glue stick. So there we are, just press them down. I'm still going to be a little bit gentle over those decoupage pieces that I've just put on. Right, there we are. So in order to use this as a pocket and also an envelope, I suppose, in a way, but not There's loads of things you could do. Let's just face it, there's loads of things. I could just use that as it is, put a paper clip on there, and it would be done. It'd be great. I could even put decoupage on the back if that was what I had wanted to, if that was what I had in mind for it. But I want to glue mine onto a page. So what I'm going to do is just...
Sarah says hi.
Hiya, Sarah. Thanks for joining us. I haven't really got the hang of this glue bottle yet with the aliens in it. So I'm going down that edge, across the bottom. And it might seem really obvious to you, and I'm sorry if it does. So there, I've gone down there, around there, and to there. And I want mine just slightly off centre. So I'm going to put it there. Make sure that that's straight, level with the edge of our pretend journal. And stick that down. When I talk about glues, I'll cover the fact that some glues are instant grab, some aren't. Some you've got to have right from the second you put down because you can't move it. Others, well, there's just so much to talk about with glues, but not today. We're not talking about that today. So let's just take our dry wet wipe and make sure it's dry. And just press that down firmly. And the wet wipe, the dry wet wipe will mop up any little accidents you might have had with the glue splurging out. Right, so there we have it. I mean, that's an envelope. It's decorated. It's a pocket. It's music paper. It's really nice. I really like it. So the thing to do is find something to pop in it. And I have got more ephemera than any one person will ever need in their lifetime. I can tell you that. But this is just one drawer of it. Let's get rid of that for a minute so you can see what we've done. Right, so some of this is cut out, some of it isn't. I don't know what's in there. Is there anything that I want in there? No, probably not. Let's see what's in here.
Time for a coffee.
There's all sorts of things. Anything that doesn't really have a home gets stuffed in here. But I do like these ladies. I did a set of ephemera using these ladies. And they're lovely. I wonder if one of those... What's that? Oh. I just can't see much of everything. Right. This isn't going to fit in there, patently, obviously. But something kind of like that might be quite nice. Along those lines, let's say. What about these ladies? Yeah, one of those would fit in there beautifully. Yeah, I'm going to leave that out because I like it. Can you see me rootling through here? That's a page from one of the books that a Fussy cut out of. That was a freebie from Artie Mays. Gorgeous. These I think are from possibly My Porch Prints. That's nice. I don't like mason jars. I don't know why I keep cutting them out. I really don't have a liking for them. That was the one I made myself. This is actually decoupage. I probably did it on a live. Oh, butterflies. They shouldn't be in there. She should be in my butterfly department. Can you just pull out just a tiny little bit? Because I've got all of this. Oh, look at that. Listen to your heart. That's lovely. If I put two in there, would that be too much? Yeah, I'm going to put this one in though. Let's listen to your heart. It's gorgeous. Thanks very much indeed.
You're welcome.
That's grand. Glad to know. That's nice, isn't it? Doesn't really go with those. Or does it? I quite like that. I've gone off that one. I need something longer now because it's going to go in there, and this is the bottom, so I need something a bit longer. Talking of envelopes, here's one that I did some while ago. I've shown you how to do this, I know I have. It's pretty though, isn't it? That's all decoupage. Oh, and here's an envelope I've made previously. It's amazing what I'm finding. That's out of scrapbook paper, you know, the pads. Didn't even know I had that. That. Picture of cows, yeah, that's jolly useful. Bit of snippet roll. Oh, the blue tits, I love that. Does that fit in there? Just. Yeah, I'll leave that out because I really do like that. There's another one I've made up from Antique Papery. I'm going to stop this in a minute, so don't worry if you're bored. It's all going to come to an end soon. These are from chapter 1. Oh, do you remember when we did all that chapter 1 stuff? Wasn't it beautiful? About time I did another chapter 1. Vellum, chapter 1. Oh, look at that. What's that doing? Just sitting there. Never being used. I think this is all chapter 1, this lot here. So I'll leave that. And then here, I'm pretty sure this is the Daisy collection from My Porch Prints. Oh. I seem to have loads of the same thing. That's really helpful. That's nice though. Yeah, I think that's the one. I think that's the one. Let's just flick through this in case I've missed anything really groovy. No, they're all a bit on the large side. Right, so I'm just going to pretend like I've looked through all of that, which would take me longer than a week, and is on the list to be sorted for the Hoarders Crafters edition. Right, so this I've already made up. It was a page from a journal book. It's really lovely, and I've backed it onto some coffee stained paper and sewn around it, as you can see. Now, you don't have to sew around things, but sometimes it just adds that really nice final touch. So I'm going to put that in the back. It fits in there just like it was made for it, to be honest. And you could put something at the top if you wanted. We'll come back and visit that in a moment. There's a little card there. Listen to your heart. And look at that lady. She is so pretty. Excuse me. But this I've printed out. It's fairly thick paper, but I like my tags and cards to be a bit thicker than that. And this one I think is on the same paper. I think it's 160 grams. Hang fire a moment because I'm just going to have a drink of my coffee. I hope you've all noticed how nice and clean my blue board is. Mr. F scrubbed it this morning, which was very kind of him. Right, so what I'm going to do is get some...
Nancy says hi.
Hiya, Nancy.
The lion.
You deserve a lie-in. Have a lie-in. This is this cream card I've been using all week. A4 Premium Card Pack, 180 GSM from Hobbycraft in the UK. It's a lightweight card, I would call it. And I'm hoping that I can get these two on here. Might be a forlorn hope. No, look at that. They're going great. Right, so now I'm going to try the Elmer's Extreme, because I'm going to sew around them. So what I have here is my book that I glue onto, and it saves getting it onto your desk and making your nice clean desk all grubby. So I don't need to put too much around the outsides because I'm going to be sewing it. Oh, does grab. Right, so there we are. And this one as well.
Flo says hi.
Hi, Flo. Hope you're doing all right. We've been following the Mars rover as much as NASA let you. It's amazing. It's just amazing. And cut those out around the edge of your...
Jen says good morning.
Good morning, Jen. Good afternoon. Good evening. I think, actually, Flo and Jen should be on the naughty step, don't you? And Nancy, for that matter. Nancy slept in too.
True.
Flo might have some cake if you're lucky. So if you're a new starter and you don't have any of this ridiculous amount of ephemera, as we call it, that I have, go look through, you know, Daphne's Diary or Molly Makes or something like that. Find yourself a picture that you like and cut it out into the size that fits the project that you're doing. You don't have to have digital kits and a printer and inks and good paper, etc., to do this. I'm trying to give you alternative ways of doing it. So there we are. We've got these. They're quite sturdy now, sturdy enough to journal on, I would say. And what I'm going to do is take my vintage photo and ink around the edge, and you can't really see it on this green, but it's more like I just want to get rid of that edge. Same on the back. And before I sew it, I'm going to really need to wash my boards. I'm going to put just a tiny little bit of a stencil on it, just so as there's some continuity throughout the journal. I like that idea. So just that, but it just looks like a card. But don't leave it until after you've sewn, because you can't get in properly because of the line of stitches. Let's ink around this one. She is a beautiful lady. Well, girl, possibly. You can use, and some people do very successfully use, food packaging. You know, when you buy your food, sometimes it has a cardboard sleeve on it. You can save those and use those.
Crafty Pat says, what do you think of Olicraft? She was disappointed with the one that opened up near her.
Well, I think it's very expensive, and I don't think they have very much stock. I mean, we thought that they had so little stock that they must be closing down. But it's certainly not my favourite place. You know, it's not the, I need something, I'll go to Hobbycraft and you'll be sure that you'll get it. It just doesn't, no, it's not great.
And Jen says, what is Daphne's Diary? She uses it a lot.
Daphne's Diary is a magazine. I'm not sure, I've never ever bought it. I'm not sure if it comes out weekly, monthly, whatever. And it seems to have loads of ideas for things that you can do. And it also has pages of paper in it that you can use. But beware of the copyright. Don't scan those papers in and use them again. You can use them from the actual magazine, but you know, be careful with copyright. I always tell you this, guys, be really careful about copyright. Right, I could sew around those, but this is supposed to be for new starters. Gee, nobody will say that about my picks in 100 years. They will say, why why was her hair so big? They would say that about me in the 80s. They'd say, why was my hair so big? Crafty Pat, to make my cake. Breakfast material, I call it a muffin. And Kerry says she likes the range. Yeah, I like the range better than Hobbycraft probably. But they don't do Tim Holtz. And generally, I'm looking for distress ink that I need that moment. So yeah, the range is probably better. Now they have Iceland, which is a supermarket shop inside the shop. That pleases me because they sell food. Right, so anyway, here we are.
They do frozen Greggs.
Yeah. I mean, for people not in the UK, you won't know what Greggs is, but it's a real kind of scutty shop that sells high-calorie, fatty deliciousness. Yeah. I think their best seller is a thing called a steak bake, and it's like puff pastry all around it with meat and gravy inside. But they do, the regular sausage rolls and stuff like that, and they do all sorts of
donuts.
Yeah, donuts and stuff that you really know you shouldn't be eating. Biscuits. But Iceland, the shop I'm telling you that's opened up inside the range, they do a range of frozen stuff that Iceland do, so you can buy it, bring it home and have it when you want it. Anyway, look, this is ridiculous. Let's get back to this. Now I think that looks really pretty. I'd be quite pleased with that in my journal. I think it looks nice. I mean, it looks a bit strange because our pretend journal's in white. It would ordinarily be coffee stained. If you are a new starter and you don't know how to coffee stain things, Mr. Fix-It did a video. If you go to my main page, go to playlists, go to Mr. Fix-It, you'll see how to coffee stain your paper. We actually did something different this week. We tea stained our paper because coffee's just so expensive, really. And it worked out really well. I liked it. Right, this is pretty. It's really pretty. I love her, who I'm going to call Jean now. I'm going to call her Jean. I love the daisy and I love this. But for me, it needs a bit of frou-frou. You might be happy with no frou-frou. But I really like it. So I'm going to put frou-frou on the back here. I'm going to leave this as it is. It's got plenty going on. But I'm going to put some frou-frou on the back of that card. No, the front of it. The card that's in the back. So let's see if I can find some ribbon. I wonder where my organza ribbon went in the clean-up. Ah. There's one. And two. Yay. Oop. Excuse me. Right, so what I'm going to do is put a couple of holes in here. I could put it on an angle, but I'm going to put it straight. So I'm just going to measure this, and it measures in inches 4 3/4, in centimeters it measures something else, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9.5. Right.
Are you sure that's right? Because 9.5 centimeters doesn't equal 4.5 inches. It equals 3.5.
It's 3 3/4 inches.
Ah, right. I thought you said 4.5 for some reason in my head.
3 3/4 inches.
3 3/4 inches.
I'm going to get my ruler out. And these rulers, there's something, they were peculiar to me, I think. I haven't seen very many, if any, other crafters using these rulers. But I used to be a quilter. Therefore, I had all these rulers, and it was a transferable skill, if you like. So I use them in my crafting. I'll get onto them on another day. So, yeah, 3 3/4, it still measures. Isn't that a shocker? So half of that is 1.5 plus 3/8. So 1 7/8, in fact. Okay, so let's work out where I want it. I want it about there. I don't want a hole halfway Let's get that squared up. This is the beauty of quilting rulers. You can get it absolutely square up the side so you know that you're square. So I'm going to put a hole at 1.5 inches in. No, 1.25. So that would be there. Yeah, I'm going to put a hole at 1.25 inches in from one side and 1.25 from the other. So that's 1.25. That's there. Right. So there we are, there's the 2 marks for our hole. Now, I have a fancy thing called a crocodile that munches through things. If you don't have that, where's the little ones? Are they in the same? No. Don't know. I don't know where our little ones are. Are they in this drawer? Is that a hole maker? No, it's a setter. Oh no, it's a hole maker. Yeah, I have this. It's big, it's expensive, it's really handy if you're going to do a lot of crafting. If you're not committing to doing a lot now because you don't know whether you like it or not, you can buy cheaper metal versions. And I'll use that just to show that it does work. It's got a hole in the top, so you get your mark in that hole. And that's the full extent of how deep that goes. There. And this is why I bought, well, I was gifted a crocodile, because they can be really awkward. But that's that, it's done. And make a hole where the other one goes. I can't see the mark. There it is. I'll just trim that out as well. Right, so that's fine. We've got 2 holes. Perfect. And it didn't cost us a fortune because we bought this cheaper method. I want to put eyelets in there. You don't have to do this. You don't have to put eyelets in there.
Jean's got to go.
Oh, bye, Jean. Have a good time at physical therapy. I know you won't.
She'll see you in the morning. Well, she's got to go and help her husband.
Oh, fair enough.
She says she'll see you in the morning.
See you tomorrow.
Take care.
Right, so I've got all these fancy ones that are all different colours. Haven't got any pinks because I've used them all up. But I have got that nice light green. That might look quite nice there. Yeah, I think so. Pink would have been my first choice, but I've used them all up. So this crocodile, this is where it comes into its own, I think. It has a setting for setting the eyelets. So you just pop your eyelet through the hole. And then when you press the handle, when you're setting an eyelet, there's a locator peg comes down. And I always hook my eyelet onto that locator peg. And then I know that it's in the middle. And then apply the pressure with the handle. And there you have it. Well, there you don't have it, actually.
Is it on the right setting? Because I moved it around earlier, didn't I?
Yeah. Probably not. I can't remember which setting it was on now. Is it that one?
No. I think it was probably on the right one.
Never let Mr. F free with your blinking things. I think it's that one. Don't know why it's not setting it. Oh. That's set it. Set it all right. And the same the other one. The hole that those little cheap handheld ones make is not the same size as my eyelets, so I'm going to punch that out again with with my crocodile, and then I know it's the right size. And then it will go through. I've done all that and I've put the holes at the bottom. Never mind, let's forget that. It's kind of a process video, so we'll just have to pretend that they are at the top. Right, so I have set my 2 eyelets. Lovely. That one doesn't look overly set, if I'm honest. I think we've got the wrong thing on the bottom, but I don't know. Right, okay. So that crocodile is for further down the line when you know that you're going to be doing a lot. So yeah, we've got this upside down. Birds are actually sitting defying gravity, but birds can do that. And I'm going to put a bow, and I'm going to use my wider organza. Fold it up and try and get it through that hole. I very often use a pencil because it's soft and it won't tear the weave of the organza. Just get rid of that thread from sewing. Pull enough through that you can make a bow with, and then cut off. Oh, that's all I've got. I've come to the end of it. So whatever I've got is whatever I've got. Definitely need to get some more of that, and it came from the range. It's one of my staples, organza. I want it so it's fairly flat across the back, like that. Put that there and push it through. Hopefully it'll go. Yeah. Then I'm just going to tie a bow. I'm going to try it the way Julie does it. She folds that double first and folds that double and then ties a knot. I can't see that working for me. I don't know, maybe. Let's give it a try. No, I think I need longer lugs to start with. I'm trying it Julie's way because the way I normally do it, and it never ever works on camera. Is that actually a bow? It's not really, is it? It's just... No, I'm going to have to do it the way I normally do it. It's like gone deathly silent here. If any of you ever watch me doing videos, you'll see that I really struggle tying bows. I can tie them when no one's watching, but for some reason when people are watching, I just can't do it. Hooray! Right, so I've got a humongous bow here.
That's why you have slip-on shoes.
I've got a zip up my little boots. And that, how do I get that to go down the back? Don't know. I need to watch a video on tying bows. That's what I really need to do. Because some people end up with really pretty ones. And then there's me. Right, okay. I'm calling that kind of done. Because otherwise, you know, this isn't supposed to be a video about tying bows. Right, so I'm just going to cut that off there. Cut that off there. Lovely. It's quite nice. And let's pop that into the back there so we hide the birds that are hanging upside down. That's a little bit too big, that actually. Yeah, that's fine. I like that. And you could fiddle around for ages getting those at the back, but that's just the general idea. Just wanted to show you that, of what it looks like, and an idea of how you can decorate it. Right, there's just one more thing on the envelope front. That's quite pretty, that actually, isn't it? One more thing on the envelope front that I want to show you, and then I've pretty much shown you all I know. So I'm going to be using a piece of scrapbooking card paper. This is quite thick, it's 230, so it's got a bit of body to it. And just find one that you like the back and the front of for an envelope. I don't know what I'm looking for. I love that one, but not the other side. Let's use this one. Okay, so at this stage, just decide, the only decision you have to make is how wide you want your envelope to be. Now, on our pretend journal, if I was putting it in normally, it would be, I'd want it to be about that wide or less, but you can make it so it attaches over the side of your page. So in that case, you could have it almost that wide if you wanted it to. It would look a bit odd, but you could. So for this one, I'm going to make it measure about 5 inches. Let's say 5. So for me, with my cutting, I just line it up there with that line. Line it up, make sure it's lined up along the bottom and the side, and then you can't go wrong. It's got to be square. And I use a rotary cutter, which is also a hangover from my quilting days, but it does work really well. Press down on your ruler firmly. So that's surplus at the moment. Right, the way we're going to make this one is, I'm going to make this the inside, is to fold this up, fold that down, and that's going to be it. That's pretty much it. But that's the way that writing is the right way, and that's the way. So, right, this is the bottom. We've established that. Now, if I fold that up to there, and then fold that down, yeah, so really it's just a matter of sort of fiddling around to see where you like it. I'm going to make it slightly less. So I'm going to say that I'm going to bring that up to there. So I'm folding it, and I'll burnish it with the bone folder in a minute. Now make sure that you leave a gap between here and where you fold this, so you can actually get things in and out. If you fold that completely there, you can't get in. You can't get the flap back enough to get in. So allow some room. I'm going to allow probably an inch actually, to about there, and fold it and make sure that it's square with your paper, square with your edges, and then fold that in. So now we can burnish these. They're in for keeps. So it's the same old really. You ink around it, and on this one I think we'll stitch around it just to let you see. So I'm inking everywhere that will be visible. I think that tomorrow I might start my tidying up video series, which is going to be a long one. It's going to be a long series because I've got loads of tidying up to do. And tomorrow it might be about going through all the drawers and collecting together all the, well, I'll call it scrap paper, but paper that doesn't really have a home. And putting it, well, I would say putting it into one box, but I just know there's going to be more than, I've got one box full already. Okay, so you can see these bits up here, so I'm going to ink those. Down to where that joins on. Right, that's us finished with the ink. Now then, if you choose to do an envelope like this is quite a large one. Very often they're smaller than that, but...
Laura Seeley says hello.
Hiya Laura, thanks for joining us. If this is how you choose to do your envelope, is this sort of trifold, and you want to sew it, you need to sew along here first, because patently obvious, once you've sewn around there, you can't get into this bit to sew. So let's just do that first. I've still got my little Toyota, so it's going to be a bit clunky. Okay, so there's my stitching along there. You can move yours closer, further away, whatever. If you've forgotten or you don't have the facility to do back stitches or lock stitches on your machine, I would recommend that you just get a little bit of glue on your finger. Just the merest dab.
Lorna says hi.
Hi Lorna, good morning. Hope you're not freezing again. So it's just, come on glue. Put all my pins away, I'll use a different glue. Right, so it's a tiny little amount like that, and just rub it over the end of your stitches, back and front, and it'll lock them. Same on the other side. It's just a tiny amount. I'll just lock them in. Right. So now we can stitch around the whole shebang. So like that, I would start off here, because you're not going to see it because that's going to be folded over largely. So start off there. I'm just going to ink around there so you can see what's what. Start here at the top of the pocket and go all the way right round and finish there again. Just going to lengthen my stitch somewhat because it's a little bit short. Right, I don't have a light on this machine, so I'm not sure how clearly you're seeing anything. Right, lock that. Okay, so let's have a look and see what we've got. I've stitched all the way around. It's not the world's best bit of stitching by any means. I'm afraid I'm not. I'm going to make an excuse now, but I'm not really used to the little Toyota. I got it down the other day to show you about free motion embroidery. It hasn't been put away yet, and I really don't use it very often. So that's my excuse. I'm sticking to it. But anyway, there you go. You can see we've sewn across the top. That was the first thing that we did. And now I've sewn all the way around it. And that folds over there like so. And you can decorate it. Just stick on whatever you like. What shall I stick on there? Let's just have a little look in my box of tricks. See if I can find something that would be quite nice. Quickly. Oh my goodness me. There's those little fellows. Yeah, maybe. Oh, that's quite nice. Yeah, that's quite nice. And I just want something to go on the top. Those two doves will do. You can take your time over yours, obviously. So that's already been cut out for us. I've already done that at some earlier date. Ink around it. You could put loads more decoration than this on. This is just to give you a bit of an idea. I'll put that there, like that. And then this dove, these doves I should say, there's two of them. You don't have to sew around it. Don't think that with this kind you have to sew around. You don't. I just wanted to show you that you could. You can just glue it, same as everything else. But I wouldn't use a glue stick for that because it's construction. I would class that as construction. People will be pulling against that, so you don't want... so I'll just pop that there. Right, so get Mr. Elmer out and my book. This will be a good test for him. I'll keep an eye on this and see what happens to it. So just being guided by the stitches there and just putting that in that corner. You could have made a really nice little collage or something there. Similarly, you could, you know, do a nice collage, put some lace. Let's do that. Let's put some lace along there. Just a little bit of lace. Just going to use my Cosmic Shimmer because it grabs quickly. And it's got a nasty bit in it. I'm not surprised. I don't use stainless steel pin, so it discolours my ink. Yuck. Let's just take a little piece of lace. So you see, you guys that are new starters, there is no end, really. If I was to tell you what you need, there's no end to it. It's one of those things that you just are always buying stuff. And if you're a compulsive shopper, this is a craft for you. There's no denying it. It's the craft for you. So I think that's fairly straight. I'm kind of rushing on here, so... sorry if things aren't perfect. There we are. So that's just made that look a bit prettier, despite the fact it's not quite straight. There we are. And I have got, if this is the first video that you've watched of mine, be prepared because I add flat back pearls to just about everything that doesn't move. And I'm going to add that to there. Let's cut that off there, I think that's about right. And for these I'm using a different kind of glue. It's a stronger glue. It's a glue called E6000, and it's for sticking sort of gems or quite difficult things together. So, and it's expensive. It's an expensive glue, so don't think that because it sticks, you know, difficult things together, you want to use it all the time. Don't, because it's just going to be too expensive. So I'm just going to put a bead of that, just a fine bead, just above that lace that I've just put on. And it doesn't need any more than just a really fine bead of it. If you put any more, it'll start to look messy. Put your top on instantly with this because it kind of erupts. Then lay that down where you want it to go and push up into it with your beads. And it'll stop when it hits the lace. Just something to be careful there because of the stitching. And it's not an instant grab glue, so, you know, places like this, you haven't jiggered it because you haven't got it stuck down straight away. You can go back to it, not forever, but, you know, you have got a couple of minutes, I would say, to work with it. So that's that. That's looking all very pretty, and we've got that. So I'm going to stick that on there. Where's my book? The flat back pearls that I have came from AliExpress, and I know some of you are a bit afraid of using Ali and not sure. I've used Ali now for well over a year, well over. I've never had anything go missing. I've never had to raise a dispute with them or anything like that. The thing is, they do take a while to get here, you know, sometimes 6 weeks. But for things like flat back pearls that you know you're going to be using, or I know I'm going to be using all the time, it's worth it to me to order them from Ali because they are so very much cheaper. So there we are. Yes, Julie, you're right. I can't even move that now. It's grabbed it and it's stuck it. So there we are. So there's that really pretty, I think, little envelope from half a piece of scrapbook paper. So let's go back to our pretend journal and let's just grab me a paper clip. So there's several ways that you could use this. Here's our journal, here's the page. You could just pop that on there, paper clip it on, and you've got a nice little envelope attached to the edge of your page, and that looks pretty. Can't see anything wrong with that at all. Or what you could do is, yeah, if you stitch, just watch out for paper clips. They like to get stuck on your stitches. You could put it like that, so you've got that flap there, paper clip that on. You could decorate that side, that would be nice. Or you could just stick it on your page like that. Leave it open at the top and you'd have something to put in there, something to put in there, a nice little envelope. So there you go, that's kind of the world of envelopes, really quickly. Where's this one? This one's here. We haven't got onto the envelope punch board because I don't think it's necessarily a thing that new starters would have. So I've left that out for this time. But there we have it. We've used music paper, we've done decoupage, we've used a template to make that style pocket. We've put ephemera in it, we've tied a bow at the top. We've done this one, which we made from a template an existing envelope that we had that we opened up. I don't know where it is, but we opened it all up, drew around it, and used some paper from a scrapbook pad. And this one, the same thing, paper from a scrapbook pad, but no great shaping going on here. It's just you fold a bit up, you fold a bit down, and decorate it, and that's that. So that's it, ladies. I can't really think of anything more I can tell you about envelopes until we reach the dizzy heights of envelope punch boards, which basically you just end up with an envelope that looks like this, but you can choose the size. So, you know, these are ripe for being decorated. They really are. And they'd go onto your journal page like that with a paper clip. So you'd see this side here, you'd see this here. It could be all nicely decorated up. When you take it out, you could have journaling pages in there, or anything you want in there. So there you go. I hope that's been quite thorough, quite easy to follow. I don't know if it has or not really. But you've learned quite a few things there, I think. So, thank you for joining me. I hope it hasn't been too boring for everybody that knows, that knows all this. And I know there are many of you on the group that do know all this already. But we have to be patient with the people that are just starting, who want to share our lovely hobby with us. So, thank you very much, everybody. Stay warm, stay well, and stay out of trouble. And I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.
Take care, everyone. See you soon. Bye.